वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपथकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते कुपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी भाष्यचार्यशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Okay, one second. So today we are going to read Nectar of Instruction. I think it was maybe from text number 3 or 4. Oh, it's open here. Oh yeah, we ended in this verse, I remember. Oh, Haribo. Kanjal Prabhu is flying. That was nice, Prabhu. Be careful. Don't fall, Prabhu. Okay, we start from here. All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for the humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Not only is the chanter of the Maha Mantra purified, but the heart of anyone who happens to hear the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is also cleansed. Even the souls embodied in lower animals, insects, trees, and other species of life also become purified and prepared to become fully Krishna conscious simply by hearing the transcendental vibration. This was explained by Thakur Haridas when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from him how living entities lower than human beings can be delivered from material bondage. Haridas Thakur said that the chanting of the holy names is so powerful that even if one chants in the remotest parts of the jungle, the trees and animals will advance in Krishna consciousness simply by hearing the vibration. This was actually proved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he passed through the forest of Jarikanda. At that time, the tigers, snakes, deer, and all other animals abandoned their natural animosity and began chanting and dancing in Sankirtan. Of course, we cannot imitate the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we should follow in his footsteps. We are not powerful enough to enchant the lower animals, such as tigers, snakes, cats, and dogs, or entice them to dance, but by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can actually convert many people throughout the world to Krishna consciousness. Contributing or distributing the holy name of the Lord is a sublime example of contributing or giving charity, the Dadati principle. By the same token, one must also follow the Pratigrihnati principle and be willing and ready to receive the transcendental gift. One should inquire about the Krishna consciousness movement and open his mind in order to understand the situation of this material world. Thus, Guhyam Akhyati Pritchati principles can be served. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness invite the society's members and supporters to dine with them when they hold love feasts in all their branches every Sunday. Many interested people come to honor Prasad, and whenever possible, they invite members of the society to their homes and feed them some socially with Prasad. In this way, both the members of the society and the general public are benefited. People should give up the company of so-called yogis, gyanis, karmis, and philanthropists because their association can benefit no one. If one really wants to attain the goal of human life, he should associate with devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement, because it is the only movement that teaches one how to develop love of God. This question was asked by the Sanchit Prabhu in the today's Q&A session. He was asking, I'm going to church, I'm associating with these Christians and Muslims sometimes, but he says I'm not benefiting at all. Why is that? He was asking. And here is direct answer that because their association can benefit no one, and that this one, Krishna consciousness movement, because it is the only movement that teaches one how to develop love of God. So because they don't know how to develop it, so that's why it's no use. Religion is the special function of human society and it constitutes the distinction between human society and animal society. Animal society has no church, mosque, or religious system. In all parts of the world, however downtrodden human society may be, there is some system of religion. Even tribal aborigines in the jungles also have a system of religion. When a religious system develops and turns into love of God, it's successful. As stated in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavata 126. Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhaktiradoksaje ahaitukya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation dharma of all humanity is that by which man can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Transcend Lord. Is this cut or is it supposed to be like this? Oh, it is like this. Maybe. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So this is Ahaituki and this is Apratihata, if I remember right. Yeah, Haribo. In order to completely satisfy the self. If the members of human society actually want peace of mind, tranquility, and friendly relations between men and nations, they must follow the Krishna consciousness system of religion, by which they can develop their dormant love for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as people do so, their minds will immediately be filled with peace and tranquility. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur warns all devotees engaged in broadcasting the Krishna consciousness movement not to speak to the impersonalist Mayavadis, who are always determined to oppose such theistic movements. The world is full of Mayavadis and atheists, and the political parties of the world take advantage of Mayavada and other atheistic philosophies to promote materialism. Sometimes they even back a strong party to oppose the Krishna consciousness movement. The Mayavadis and other atheists do not want the Krishna consciousness movement to develop because it educates people in God consciousness. Such is the policy of the atheists. There is no benefit in feeding a snake milk and bananas because snake will never be satisfied. On the contrary, by taking milk and bananas, the snake simply becomes more poisonous. If a snake is given milk to drink, its poison simply increases. For a similar reason, we should not disclose our minds to the serpent Mayavadis and Karmis. Such disclosures will never help. It is best to avoid association with them completely and never ask them about anything confidential because they cannot give good advice. Nor should we extend invitations to Mayavadis and atheists, nor accept their invitations, for by such intimate intermingling we may become affected by their atheistic mentality. Sangat sanjayate kama. It is the negative injunction of this verse that we should refrain from giving anything to or accepting anything from the Mayavadis and atheists. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also warned, Vishayira annakaile tushtahayamana. By eating food prepared by worldly people, one's mind becomes wicked. Unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, one principle, on principle, one should not accept charity from the Mayavadis or atheists. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has forbidden devotees to associate even with ordinary men who are too addicted to material sense gratification. The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulative devotional principles, follow in the footsteps of the acharyas, and in full obedience carry out the orders of the spiritual master. In this way, we shall be able to develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. The devotee who is neither a neophyte nor a Mahabhagavata, a greatly advanced devotee, but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Person of Godhead, make friends with the devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and demonic. In this verse, there is a brief mention of the process of making loving transactions with the Supreme Person of Godhead and making friends with the devotees. According to the Dadati principle, an advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income to the service of the Lord and his devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami has set such an example in his life. When he decided to retire, he distributed 50% of his life's earnings to Krishna's service and 25% to his relatives and kept 25% for personal emergencies. This example should be followed by all devotees. Whatever one's income, 50% should be spent on behalf of Krishna and his devotees, and this will fulfill the demands of Dadati. In the next verse, Srila Rupa Goswami informs us that informs us what kind of Vaishnava should be selected as a friend and how Vaishnavas should be served. Haribol. Okay, let's read the next one. Hare Krishna Rahul Prabhu Dandat Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, I can read the verse and few pages, then someone can continue. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasti chet pranati bischa bhajantamisham shusrushaya bhajana vignam ananyam anya nindadi shunya hridam ipsita sangalabdya. Oh, this one is hard. Bhajana Vignam. Word to word. Krishna, Krishna. The holy name of Lord Krishna. Iti, thus, Yasya, of whom, Giri, in the words of or speech, Tam, him. Manasa, by the mind. Adriyeta, one must honor. Diksha, initiation. Asti, there is. Chet, if. Pranatibi, by obeisances. Cha, also. Bhajantam, engaged in devotional service. Isham, unto the Supreme Person of Godhead. Shushrooshaya, by practical service. Bhajana Vignam, one who is advanced in devotional service. Ananyam, without deviation. Anyanindadi, of blasphemy of others. Sunya, Shunya, completely devoid. Hridam, whose heart. Ipsita, desirable. Sangha, association. Labdya, by gaining. Translation. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in the worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of propensity to criticize others. Purport. In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with the three types of devotees: the Kanishtadikari, Madhyamadikari, and Uttamadikari. The Kanishtadikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should have one should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyama Adhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Madhyama Adhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. Hmm. The Uttamadhikari, or highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttamadhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean and he has attained the realized state of unallied Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavata or perfect Vaishnava are most desirable. One should not remain in a Kanishtadhikari. One should not remain a Kanishtadhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in the worshipping deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Archayam eva haraye pujamya shraddaye hate natad bhakte shuchanyesu sabhakta prakrita smrita. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general is called Prakrita Bhakta or Kanishtadikari. One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishtadikari to the platform of Madhyamadikari. The Madhyamadikari is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in this way. Ishvare tat adineshu balisheshu dvishatsu cha prema maitri kripopeksha yah karoti samadhyama. The Madhyamadikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Person of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement. Sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in the devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed numbers of rounds on the japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttamadhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. So, what is this? The process which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila 4:192. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpana, sei kale Krishna tare kare atma sama. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. Hare Krishna, Srikant Prabhu Dandarpanam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha 868 by Srila Jiva Goswami. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sankshayam Tasma Diksheti Sa Prokta Dikshte Shikaistatva Kovidai. So Diksha means two things. I remember this from Sundar Gopal Prabhu. It's divided into two words, the dik and sha. It means two things, gives knowledge and takes away the sins. So I think it said also here, divya jnanam and kuryat papasya. I see these words. By diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.13 prescribes Tapasa brahmacharyena sa shamena cha damena cha. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, Divya Jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divya Jnanam is technically called Tadvigyana, or knowledge about the Supreme. Tadvigyanartam Sagurum Eva Bikached Mundak is this Mundaka Upanishad 1-2-12. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21 also prescribes Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jignasu Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the Absolute Truth, he should approach a spiritual master. One should not accept the spiritual master without following his instructions, nor should one accept the spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jignasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science. Jignasu shreya uttamam. The word uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means Tama means the darkness of this material world, and Ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as Madhyamadikari. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 2269 it is said, Jahara Komala Shraddha Se Kanishta Jnana Krame Krame Tenho Bhaktaha Ibe Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life. Oh, Hare Krishna, Lebang Prabhu Tandarpanam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances of Lord Srila Prabhupada.
You want to read, Prabhu?
Yeah, I can read one, Prabhu. Flu is killing my voice here.
Okay, Prabhu. This has 7 pages. You can read as like 1, 2, or as many as you want.
Okay, Prabhu. Should I start there, everyone?
Yes, Prabhu.
Everyone begins his Hare Krishna, Shri Kant Prabhu, please accept number of obeisances of Lord Srila Prabhupada. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage, but if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinama, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttamadikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen. Padita, according to his calculation, practically everyone of us is fallen, but because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen. Oh, 64, Prabhu. Swami Prabhu, have you chanted 64?
No, Prabhu. I'm not so good.
Too much, actually. When Srila Satyaraja Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahe yanra mukhe sune eka bara Krishna nama sei puja sreshta sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Wow. Can I read that again, Prabhu? If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Common group meaning, Prabhu, the material groups, ne, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Like the common
Okay.
people.
Okay. CC Madhya 15:106. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Ata eva yanra mukhe eka Krishna nama. Seita Vaishnava kariha tanhara samana. Prabhu, can you please go up? I just want to take a screenshot of that, the one that we were reading before. It's actually repeating in my mind. Yeah, you can go down. Yeah, I'm done, Prabhu. You can go where I'll read. Thank you. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's name, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within one's mind. CC Madhya 1511. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna, and even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. I don't know who is this. Is this the one from Britain, Prabhu, or London? I don't remember.
George Harrison, Beatles.
Yeah, George Harrison. Yeah. Correct. I wanted that name. At his home, he offers respects to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should also be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. While giving instruction to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories: Shastra Yukti Nahi Jane Trita, Shradavan Madhyamadikari se Mahabhagayavan. Is it Bhagayavan? Bhagayavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and who is also undeterred. Is it undeterred? Is it correct, Prabhu? How do you pronounce that? Undeterred.
Which one?
On the left, Prabhu.
Undeterred. Yes, it was right.
Okay. In the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhya Madhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. CC Madhya 22, verse 64. A Madhya Madhikari is a Shradavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:64, it is said, Shraddha Havan Jana Haya Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhya Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. Prabhu, Shraddha, faith, ne?
Yes, Prabhu.
One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service according to the development of his Shraddha, faith, again in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhya 22:62. It is said, Shraddha Sabde Vishvasa Kahe Sudraha Nischaya Krishna Bhakti Kahile Sarva Karma Krita Haya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiaries activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of devotional service is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith, The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says is in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etad ratam manye yan mam vada si keshav. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth. Sorry, Prabhu. I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. 1 second, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. Okay, this is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, and this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction, Sarvam Dharman Parityacha Mam Ekam Sharanam Vrajam. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 1866. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna Mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevon Mukke hi Jivadau Svayam Eva Spurati Adaha Bhakti Rasam Reta Sindhu 234. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Such service begins with the tongue, Sevonomuke Jivadau, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Hare Krishna Barun Prabhu, please accept Namul Obeisance of Lord Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Prasad, we should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but service, always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes: Dadati, Pratigranati, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as the spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavata without being self-realized, for by such imitation, one will eventually become degraded. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advised the devotees to chant the holy names. Okay, devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhya Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not, yes, Prabhu, try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttamadikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttamadikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadikari as a spiritual master.
Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, what is the time? Is it 9? So it's almost 9. Okay, we can go to 6 Astagam prayers.
The translation is so long that it already tells me that the purport might be longer.
Yes, Prabhu, here every purport is really long. But I think tomorrow we can read at least 2 verses.
Oh, Prabhu, I see that you sent a message of Vivek Prabhu. So sad.
Yes, Prabhu. His family attacked his phone.
Indian people, they like engineering and computers, ne, Prabhu, like ITs, computer science, these exalted studies.
Yes, Prabhu. But they don't want anyone to go to the temple.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but I think the parents, the reason why they want him to work is because when you go for engineering, you get paid a lot of money, you know?
Well, he was already studying, but he wanted to go to temple, so the parents are worried that he won't take care of them. So that's why they do this.
Oh, yes. So we might be off for some time. And Shrivansh Prabhu is also missing, ne,
Oh,
Prabhu?
yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I forgot that. I have not heard of him for some time.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. He might come back. You know, he's full of surprises.
Yes, Prabhu. I think Vivek Prabhu will disappear and then he will come back.
Yes, yes. Ma-
Okay, Haribol.
oh,
Okay.
Prabhu, I have to leave now, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for association and reading so many pages. Haribol.
Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुतिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मास्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नाम नाम कार्य बहुतानि सर्वशक्तिस् तत्रापितानियमितस्मरणेन कालः एतादृशीतो कृपा भगवान् ममापि दुर्दैव मे दिस्मयाजन्नानुरागः
नादपि सुनिचना तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेना कीर्तन्या सदा हरि
न धनं न जनं न
मदनं न
सुन्दरिं
जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
नैनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूले सदृशं विचिन्तया
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितुं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्राप्तसायितम् शून्यायितं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्दविग्रहेण मे
श्लिष्य वा पादरतं पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधाता तुलम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the blazing fire of blazing fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of birth and death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Haribol, Sri Siksastakam ki jai.
Jai.
Bahujanma ba how it went. Bahujan
बहुजन्म करे यदि श्रवण कीर्तन तबु न पाए कृष्ण पद प्रेम धन.
Haribol, very nice Prabhu. Very
Thank you.
here. Okay, if one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. 10 offenses are as follows. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense is to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva to be equal or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. To
Fourth
blaspheme the
offense is
Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Sorry.
Fifth offense is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
To give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanta.
Ninth, ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting.
Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against his offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Let us offer our humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees who, of the Lord, they can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desired trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha Vaishnava ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai,
jai, Gaura
Jai.
Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhu.